Hello everybody and welcome to a video that I'm personally pretty excited about because of the delays up here in old Canada. The Scarlet Keys box has taken some time to get to us, but it's here. And because I know there was a lot of positivity to my unboxing of the Edge of the Earth Investigator box, I thought I would do it again for your enjoyment at home and also to see if maybe you want to pick up this box if you don't know anything about it. I'll kind of look through the cards. I'm not going to read them in detail, but I'll go through the process and we'll see as it goes. So first things first, I forgot that the Investigator box is a lot smaller than the campaign boxes because I threw out my Edge of the Earth Investigator box because it's not really perfect for holding cards, which we're going to see once I start cracking into it. So I'm going to just dive right in. So yeah, as you can see, I'll show the top. It's basically just like a cardboard insert with like little divots to hold spaces, and the cards are literally just in what's going to probably be 2 bags. Yeah, so we have the 2 packs of cards, as you can see here. We have, what the frick? Oh, there it is. I was like, where's my ad sheet? Wow, the ad sheet's got to level up. The ad sheets are now part of the rule book. So you get to keep your ad sheet for legitimately ever. Holy cow, that's so sick. That's so sick. Okay. But yeah, as you can see, the box now at this point, it's just an empty box. So if you're looking for storage for these cards, there's not much. This is not a lasting, practical solution of storage for your cards. The campaign boxes, they do have really good storage. They'll hold both your campaign and all the player cards from this, but this shouldn't be too much of a surprise if you bought the Edge of the Earth Investigator box, because ultimately these cards are, this is more just like a smaller box, but your campaign box, if you buy the Scarlet Keys, or if you have like Edge of the Earth that's half full empty, or like your revised core set, and you want to put some cards in there, you have room for that. Realistically though, most people with this game, they start doing their own storage. For example, I have my storage in binders, so you can see I have all my cards kind of hanging out in here. Here's Dynamite Blast, it's a good time. We have a video on our channel. I'll try to remember to link it in the comments. Sorry, in the description. About how Travis, Bryn, and I store our game, if you need some insight on that. But enough about that. Let us dive in and look at some more stuff. Wow. Alright, so, shall we read this together? Here, I can zoom in a bit too. Let's give you guys a closer look. Oh, that's perfect. Alright, paint the town red. It is from this point onward that reports of the hideous case have been censored, for all we have agreed that no good can be accomplished by a public knowledge of those terrestrial conditions implied by the further developments. H.P. Lovecraft for Hazelheald Out of the Eons. Scarlet Keys Investigator Expansion contains a new set of investigators and player cards that can be used to build or enhance investigator decks for any of the Arkham scenario in this one. We have some new keywords in here, as well as an old favorite of Exile. So Dilemma. Some player cards in this expansion, namely those with the Dilemma trait, possess Revelation abilities. As with Revelation abilities on other card types, these abilities resolve when the card is drawn or otherwise enters your hand, not when the card is played. These cards have no cost, signified by a little dash, and these cards cannot be played. Their effects only resolve when they are drawn. After resolving a Revelation ability on a player card, place it in its owner's discard pile. So it's like as if the card, was played normally. Revelation abilities do not resolve during setup. If one or more player cards with Revelation abilities are drawn during setup, wait until the game begins, then each player in play order resolves all of their own Revelation abilities in the order of their choosing. Now, there's also Exile, which I'm not going to read because that's a keyword that's been in a while. I'm also going to take another second to just really appreciate this. By the way, Unfathomable is a sick game. If you have a good group of players to play it with and you like Battlestar Galactica and you don't own Battlestar Galactica, you can consider checking out Unfathomable. All right, we also have the customizable thing. It's a whole page of rules, so I'm not going to read it all here. But you can pause the video if you want to, or I imagine this is all online, this breakdown little sheet here. But I am curious about the frequently asked questions. So why don't we kind of look at it? So what happens if I draw a third dilemma after resolving it? Probably nothing. That's going to be what I wager. You cannot resolve its revelation ability on a future turn. It's a dud draw. Okay. If two or more investigators each draw a dilemma during upkeep, what order are they resolved in? Each player draws one card in player order, therefore resolve them in player order. Okay, makes sense. As Ursula Downs, can I purchase the Hunter armor using experience to buy its enchanted upgrade, which gives it the relic trait? Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, that's easy. That makes sense. You would be able to. What is the final agenda? I knew this one. The final agenda. I actually think now that I'm like reading all these questions, I definitely have read all of these before, and this is just me like rehashing myself. But the final agenda is just the last agenda in the stack, so it's possible for there to be more than one final agenda in rare scenarios. If I purchase a new level 0 customizable card during a campaign, do I still have to pay the minimum experience I want to add into my deck? Yes, but don't do that, because if you're going to be doing another, if you're going to be adding another customizable card, just pay the money, the experience, to immediately get one of the upgrades you want, and then you add it anyway. Likewise, if I purchase an upgrade for Honed Instinct or Power Word that allows me to add a third copy, do I have to pay for it? No. It's like, it just satisfies that. Okay. How do I ensure that Investigator does not randomly draw a class restricted weakness? Just don't do it. Just don't. Actually, now that I think about it, I've never seen the Guardian signature weakness yet. And then the new stuff for Summon Servitor, which asking like, so what happens when the Summon Servitor takes a test? Can I commit skill cards? And it's you taking the test, so you can. Okay. It would be, I know it's not going to happen, but it would be so sick if there was a little token for the Summon Servitor. I know it exists on, I know it exists in the mod. Oh, God, I had custom white balance on. Is this my first time recording a video? Yes. This is actually the first video I recorded for the channel back in 2015. It's just finally seeing the light of day now. All right, let's see our investigators. The 6 that come in this box if you do not know who they are. And let's look at all their stuff. Getting our first stack of cards. The thing I'm most excited about seeing is I love seeing the cards in person for the first time. It's so nice. The thing I'm very excited about seeing is the customizable upgrade sheets. So our first guy here is Carson Sinclair. He's like a support class. It's like his whole thing is that he gives actions to other people. He has 2s across the boards and 6 for his stats. So he's a little bit tricky kind of like to take tests, but he has been proving to be pretty capable. So I'm excited to see some gameplay with him and then, you know, actually play with his cards in person. All cool stuff we got here. I'm going to have to sleeve all these too. Next up, we got Mr. Vincent Lee, who has like 1 million cards. He gets 4 on the men's and a wounded bystander. So on the men's, they're like unexpected courages that go away after you use them, and he gets them anytime he heals an investigator or an ally of that investigator. So he has a lot of stuff going for them. He's going to take a lot of binder space. Probably going to sort it like that and like that, probably. But nice. Man. It's always exciting when we get a new box of stuff to play with. Keimani keeps it nice and simple. Just the classic 3-card combo. They also seem pretty neat. Honestly, I think all the investigators in the box are kind of bangers, each in their own unique way. I'm curious to see what kind of staying power Mr. Carson Sinclair is going to have, because he is definitely the one that seems the most... I don't know the word off the top of my head because my brain is mush, but like the contentious. He's very, there's a lot of differing opinions for him, and there was a lot of doom and gloom. I think that Carson is going to be a good investigator. Whether he's exciting for everyone to play, I don't know. But obviously the people who like support, I think, are going to have a great time with Carson, which is really cool. Amina, or her stuff here, she gets 2 signature cards and then 1 weakness. Curious to see. And then my boy, Daryl Simmons. This investigator is going to be absolutely wild. Strong ability, strong card pool, and 5 book. What's not to love? And then our last Investigator in the box. We've been wanting him. We've been waiting for him. Charlie Kane, Vampire Hunter. It's so exciting to actually have him in the game. And I'm very excited to see the builds that come from him. Speaking of, yesterday on the channel, I released a video as part of the Many Faces of Charlie Kane. You should go check that out. And then there should be 9 other Charlie Kane decks over the next few weeks that you should check out. There's a link in the description of that video. Go check it out on our channel if you want to see some awesome Charlie Kane builds, and then also my build too, which might not be as awesome. Okay, let's just zoom the camera out slightly, and let's see these blue cards. No gold cards in this one. The gold cards were just for Edge of the Earth, and we also don't have any of the custom sheets here. I don't know if we'll have enough room for everything. There's a lot more colored cards because of the way this expansion works compared to the other one. So we can zoom out even further and just get them all on screen. Don't mind these men in the corner over there. Nothing to worry about. All right. I'm also just kind of going through, this is what I usually do when I open a box, just make sure everything looks good. In my Edge of the Earth one, I had a few miscuts that were included extra in the bag, which was kind of actually funny that happened. It was a little bit like, what the heck's going on here? But luckily I wasn't actually missing any cards, which is kind of sick. All right, going to our Seeker cards. A lot of cool stuff here. Very excited to play with Empirical Hypothesis. I think that's going to be a really good time. Press Pass is also going to be sick. It's cool seeing the cards we spoiled. Surgical Kit, Map the Area, boop, boop, in person. These are cards that, like, it's very interesting when you spoil cards because, like, you have, like, an attachment to them in the way that, like, you'll always be like, hey, I remember that card. I saw that card in an email ages ago, and then I got to make a video about it. And it's kind of just neat. But if you want to say Map the Area doesn't look that exciting to you, I won't stop you because I'll be honest, Map the Area, it doesn't look that exciting to me. Okay, that one has 3 copies. A lot of cool stuff in the Rogue class with this expansion. I do think if I had to point to one class as like the winner of the expansion, like who has got the most out of it, it would definitely be the Rogue class. They got like Dirty Fighting. They got a new card for their illicit stuff. There's a lot of really cool stuff in the Rogue class that I am very excited to play with. And I am just curious to see how it all goes down. I have a Trish deck that I want to build that I released in a video on the channel that cares about the Damning Testimony. I think there's just a lot of potential for different decks in this box because while the customizable cards, they got a lot of heat earlier on because they seem very there are some customizable cards that in my opinion are still like a little bit too wordy. But at this point now, the variety that customizable cards can offer, I think is just really... Something happened. You did this. You're the problem. I think are just... the variety that it can provide, I think, is really cool. Like, for example, one Investigator can use... Hunter's armor completely different than another Investigator can. We don't need this. I'll just put that to the side. Unencage the Soul, I think, is probably my favorite Mystic card, as well as Ghastly Possession, I think, is also really cool. A lot of really cool stuff with the Mystic pool. And honestly, this whole expansion, there's a lot of really cool cards that I cannot wait to, quote-unquote, sink my teeth into and see what happens with them. All right, and now my favorite class. You know them. You probably don't like them as much as I do, but you probably still love them or hate them. I don't care. It's your life. We have the Survivor cards, and there's some cool stuff here. End of the Road in particular is a very powerful Survivor card that I think is gonna. I'm gonna get sick of it in time. Shed of Light is another very strong card. While I do think Gumption is also great, I do think that like Survivor is the second highest winner in this in terms of like their card pool. I do think that the Dilemmas, while neat, it's just another Survivor mechanic that I'm curious if it's ever explored more, if it kind of just like sits here and just like stops, you know? I don't know how much design space left there is to explore in the Dilemmas, but like the new Keyring and Shed of Light are really powerful tools for the tested 0 archetype, which I think is really neat. All right, and then our neutrals. Nice and simple. Nice and simple. All right, we're just going to zoom in because I'm going to look at the weaknesses that I actually don't know what they do. All right, here's the Guardian one. Lurker in the Dark. Guardian Investigator only. Spawn any connecting location. Lurker in the Dark can only be attacked or damaged using weapon, assets, or tactic events and takes 1 fewer damage from each source. Okay. Fucking eat it, Carolyn Fern, I suppose. And then we got the Seeker one, Rogue one, Mystic, and Survivor. I think the Survivor one is also pretty tricky, but I do like the design space that these live in, and I'm hoping that, oh my god, I'm hoping that they continue to explore this kind of targeted design space for weaknesses. They have a different back. Look at that. Slightly purple. Looks like the Mystics got to the upgrade sheets. So it looks like there is 3 upgrade sheets per card. Fun. So now the question is, everyone's always like asking, what are you going to do about these upgrade sheets? And I think my current plan is I'm going to start by trying to laminate each of them, or like one of them for each, and then going to see how that works. And then otherwise, I'm going to like get a sleeve and draw on the sleeve. But I think honestly, even just checking it on like a piece of paper is also probably fine. It is a little bit unfortunate that like there's no easy way of doing this printed within the box. But I think ultimately it's not that big of a deal. Most of the time, you can probably even remember what they do from like some of the not crazy ones. Like Runic Axe, I think, is particularly wordy. Most of the Mystic ones are kind of wordy. Like the Servitor and the Power Word are particularly wordy. Man, just look at these cards that are just words. I love it. I feel like they could have made them double-sided, though. The backside's really, like, I like seeing this purple backside. I like the Control U or whatever it is on Adobe Photoshop to change the color. But I think they could have made these double-sided just to give players even more. Like, I understand that like their players could get confused if they had it, but I still think it's a very, what can I say, interesting pile of cards. That's probably the nicest way of putting it. Just because, like, it's weird to hold these in my hand, I'll be honest. It's just text on text. But like this is all like I am very excited for the customizable cards. I built 5 decks around them very recently on the channel, and I think it was really cool. Do I still have the box? I do. Oh, too close. Too close. Yeah, just right. I do think that they were. I think that they're very fun and they offer a lot of building potential. It's just a very weird. Like that's a big chunk of cardboard. But it doesn't detract from the amount of cards in the expansion at all, so you don't need to worry about that. From what I remember anyway, people saying. And then last but not least, one last look at what I know you all came here to see, the ad sheet, now included as part of the rulebook. So you actually luckily have a reason to keep your rulebook now. So that's kind of sick. Thank God. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I know, oh my God, I'm not here. Just pretend I'm here. I know that people were interested. They enjoyed the last unboxing. Well, unboxings to me are always like a little bit strange. I know that people enjoyed the last one, and I'll do it again for when I get the expansion, which is actually like definitely the really exciting one, I think. So hopefully that one will come out in Canada at the same time it comes everywhere else. Otherwise, you know, time keeps on ticking, and I'll make a video for it when it does come out and is in my hands. Huge thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel. Have a good one, and as always, a GG's.